Boat 628, a Tony Neal tale, part 15 of 42, 9:47 a.m. "We'll blow the man down," Patrick said as he guided boat 628 past What's Up Rock and then directed his guest to slip into her downstream eddy. "We are at 3 feet 4 inches, so while Rachel's 4 feet was way pessimistic, looked like I was a bit too optimistic. This is going to change some of our plans, but it won't necessarily put a damper on our fun. Looks like for sure we'll have to cut out some of the lower rapids and portage around one or two of the hairier ones, but it'll all be good." "How so, Tony? I thought you said 3-4 was the cutoff, and that's where we are, right? Why can't we do the whole trip if we're right on the mark?" "Because we won't stay right on the mark," Rachel said. "Right, Patrick?" "Exactly," Patrick said, nodding his head. "Even though the rain stopped, the river's going to keep rising for hours. I've never seen it go from 1 to 3.5 feet in less than 12 hours, and we know it's nowhere near peak. We're going to have a blast. It'll just be a little different than I expected. Speaking of, we've got our first section of real whitewater coming up, so we're going to do some more drills before we hit the thrills with, hopefully, no spills. Starting out with right forward 2, left back 2, he commanded from his spot on the stern as they re-entered the current and headed downstream. "All these little waterfalls that we see emptying into the river aren't usually here," Patrick said as they made their way downstream. "It's pretty wild what 3 inches of rain can do, isn't it?" "I'll say," Rachel replied, "but it's all got to go somewhere. Sure is gorgeous." "That's what we're in, right?" Tony asked. "The Gorges? Get it? Gorges, Gorges, he spelled. "You know," Patrick said, "I've heard of boats losing guests out here. None with the NOC so far, but who knows, right?" "Whoa, I feel threatened," Tony said with a laugh. "Hey, what's that really bright leaf green tree there to our right? The one about halfway up the mountain where the leaves look almost phosphorescent." "A catalpa," Johnny replied. "Pretty sure it's a southern catalpa because of its vibrant color. There's northern catalpas at this elevation and latitude, but that's got to be a southern one. Don't you think, Ray?" "I'd say so. And what about the Lobelia syphilitica?" she asked, nodding farther upstream, despite the fact Johnny was in front of her and Mr. Visual. "That's pretty cool too, huh, John?" "Where?" he asked as his head swiveled, then added, Yeah, I see it now. Gorgeous. "Thanks," Rachel said, shaking her head at his compliment while simultaneously smiling at his response.